Hi everybody, welcome to Stamping with Melva. I'm Melva Peters and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in British Columbia, Canada. And you can find me online at stampingwithmelva.com. And today I wanted to show you how I made the card that I shared as part of the blog hop today. So this was an anything goes blog hop with Stamping with Friends. And I decided to show off the Irresistible Blooms bundle and the designer series paper and embellishments that are part of the March online exclusives. I'm in love with this, this product suite that is available. The paper is just so stunning and just so easy to create these cards. Now I've already gone ahead and done most of my kind of prep work for this. So I'm just really going to show you how to put it together and talk about what you need to do to make the card. All right, let's switch over and I'll show you how easy this card is. All right, so this was the card that I shared. It's 4 1/4 by 11. I've used soft sea foam, and then the base behind it is evening evergreen. I love this color combination of soft sea foam and evening evergreen. So 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2, and then this first layer is evening evergreen. It's 4 inches by 5 1/4. Just a pretty card. And then I just used some designer series paper in the inside. Now this layout was actually based on a sketch designed by Tracy Held, who's a demonstrator in Australia, who for our By the Bay stamp camp that we held in February, she had a sketch for us to play with. And so this was my version of her sketch. I just really love the way it turned out. So let me show you. This is the Irresistible Blooms stamp set and then the dies. Really pretty. I've used the leaves to stamp and then cut out. I used the thank you. And then the two dies I absolutely love are these. Now I call this one String of Pearls, which is what I've used. And a customer, Connie, said this one's like a bracelet of pearls because you get these kind of lines with these little circles and they look like little pearls on them. So I'm using Connie's name for this, which is Bracelet of Pearls. But for this card, I've actually cut 2 pieces of this using this die and used it as those lines across. Okay, so like I said, I've gone ahead. I've got a lot of this already put together. So this is my card base, 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. And then this layer is 4 inches by 5 1/4. So what you want to do is these 2 pieces. So I've already gone ahead and cut out 2 of these strings of pearls. I will say that as you use this die, as with all dies, when you use it a lot, and I have used this a lot, sometimes they kind of aren't as easy to get the little bits out. And this is particularly fussy in that respect. I will say that if you use a longer piece of cardstock than the length of this, it stays in that cardstock and then you can just kind of cut it away. That makes it easier. Or this one, you can see how that was kind of holding its shape. And the reason is I used some wax paper in my die. So I just took a piece of wax paper, put it on top of the cardstock and then the die on top and then cut it out. And it works and it will last for quite a while. And it comes out very easily from the cardstock and cuts away. Now, when you're putting your card together, one thing I would suggest you do is to not adhere your layer 1 to your card base before you put these on. I kind of got going the other night because I actually made these for a swap card and I kind of started gluing them on. And the reason I'm saying is glue these pieces, these string of pearls on first is because you're going to cut them away. And it just is easier that way. But I still managed to make it work. Now, what you're going to do is just take these and kind of this one just kind of fits. So you kind of get it so it fits across and then you're going to trim it away. And then take liquid glue and just put a little dot of glue on the pearls all the way down. And this will hold this piece in place. It's going to be held together by the designer series paper, but these little dots of glue will just hold it in place like that. Like I said, we're going to cut the excess away once we get both of these pieces on. So then this one, I'm going to do the same. So this is the one I cut without the wax paper. Get this little bit out. So it's a little flimsier. Doesn't hold its shape quite as well. But still works. Again, just little dots of glue. Hope you're enjoying this. If you haven't ordered this one already, it just is such an amazing set of products. Now this one's going to go across the bottom. I kind of hold it in place. So I'm going to put it, and I'm going to put it over both edges. Oops. Like that. This bottom one. Like that. Just hold it until the glue's tacky. And if you get glue on your cardstock, just brush it away. It does dry clear. And you can always use an adhesive eraser if you get kind of too much on. Okay, so once that's dry, I'm going to wait. I've got a piece of the Designer Series paper. I just love this one. It's just so subtle. And this was cut 2.5 by 1, 2, 3 3/4. And I've put dimensionals on the back. So we're going to pop this one up. And these will help to kind of hold, oopsie, that backing off. Get this in place. This one just doesn't seem to want to. Might need a little bit of dotted glue on this one. Let's get that on first before, there we go. There, like that. Okay. So then we're just going to take and put this kind of in the middle. And it will, like I said, help hold those two strings of pearls on. And then you can just take your snips. So if you did like I did and you glued these on, glued your base, your layer number 1 to your base before you adhered these on and cut them, then you'll do what I'm doing. If you were smarter than me and did it before, it will be very easy just to trim the edges off of this, because you won't have to kind of get your paper snips in underneath them and between the card base. There we go. Not too bad. Okay. Isn't that pretty? Just a little bit of kind of subtle color to the back and texture to the back. Now, I've already gone ahead and stamped. I stamped one of the leaves, 3 leaves in soft sea foam, and 2 of the smaller leaves in Evening Evergreen. And I'm just going to take these. I've got glue dots on them. That's what these are. So I'm just going to take and put those kind of top up and down. And then this one, I'm just going to take and put over top of that one like that. You could use more than 1 glue dot if you wanted. I was being a little stingy there. And then the other thing that I did was I stamped the sentiment on a piece of basic white using Evening Evergreen, and I fussy cut it. You could use a die or a punch, but if you follow me, you know that I tend to fussy cut my sentiments. Now, before you put that sentiment on, I've got some Parakeet Party of the metallic trim, metallic woven ribbon, they call this. So I'm going to take and just wrap this, not with the sentiment, put the sentiment down, it's sticking to me. Okay, wrap this around my palm about 3 times, 2 or 3 times, and then cut it off. And then take and hold those ends together, pull it off, pinch those 2 together. So you end up with kind of a bow-like structure. And I just use a little bit of Stampin' Seal, just where I want the middle of this to be, and kind of stick it on. It's going to be held on with my sentiment as well. So just the sentiment can go like that. There, isn't that fun? Just a really pretty card. And you can fluff this and make it go in directions you want it to go. Now, these are the loose frosted dots. They come in yellow, pink, and kind of a dark greeny, bluey color. I'm going to use some of the blue ones. I've used a lot of them. They come in 3 sizes, so we'll see what I've got left. The way I've been attaching these is just to take a little bit of glue. So just put a dot of glue where you want this to be. And where do I want? Maybe one down here. So just a little bit of glue, and then take the putty end of your take your pick tool and pick up. I think I've got a couple of big ones left of the green. I need to get some more. Clearly I use some of these green ones. Okay, you might need your finger just to release it. Yeah, I think that was my last big one. That's okay. Got lots of these middle size and smaller ones, so we'll use those. There we go. These are just so fun, these little dots. And I love the fact that the colors all go together. Now, I just realized that I missed a piece of basic white cardstock. I don't think I've got one here. So I will finish that later. But what I did on the inside of this card is I just took a piece. So this basic white is cut 4 inches by 5 1/4. And then this piece of designer series paper is 3/4 of an inch by 5 1/4. I'll have to trim it, and it will just go on the inside. I always save these little bits that you end up trimming off of your designer series paper so that I can use them on the inside of the card. So it will look like this. Oopsie, my coming unstuck there. It will look like this when I finish it. So there you go, a really pretty card in the green colors from this Hello Irresistible suite of products. So if you have any questions as you're making this card, just leave a comment on my blog if you find your way over to my blog, or on this video, and I will be happy to answer your questions. If you find your way over to the blog at stampingwithmelva.com, you will find all the written instructions and measurements for the card in case you missed anything. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you're watching through YouTube, and you can then get notified when I go online or post tutorials. All right, everybody, thanks for joining me. Happy stamping. Bye.